What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I have my second interview today with Sara Worpole, who was a cast extra in Cobra Kai season 4, and we are going to talk all about the scene she was involved in. It involved William Zabka, and it was a really funny scene, but we need to talk about it, Sara. But thank you for coming on. It's a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you. Super excited. The season was amazing. I'm a huge fan of the show, even before I was cast in it. So obviously it was a dream come true to be involved in any aspect of it. And it's just, they're amazing people.
Yeah, so it must have been quite awesome when you obviously auditioned and then got it. So like run me through the whole little journey of when you got it and then the first day you came onto set to shoot.
So it was actually crazy. It was a last minute scene that they decided to come down to Jacksonville in Florida to shoot. So I got a call from my modeling agent 2 days before shooting saying, hey, there's this production coming down to Jacksonville. They need a couple model actresses. Are you interested? And I'm just thinking, like, gosh, that's really short notice. And Jacksonville's 3 hours away from me. You know, what's the production? And she goes, it's a show called Cobra Kai. Have you heard of it? And I nearly died, like fell over, like, yes, please, like, please submit me.
Yeah.
I don't think she had ever seen the show, so she was like completely confused at my excitement. But I was a huge fan of all the Karate Kid movies, huge fan of the show, even before it was on Netflix. Like, it was such a fan's dream come true. So I just went through that whole day of just waiting to get approval from the casting directors to make sure that I fit the scene well. I had no idea what the scene was going to be, who it was going to be with. I was just given a call time and a location.
Right.
So I showed up that day and found out that I was shooting with Billy, and obviously, like, that's amazing. So I go to walk into the hair and makeup trailer, and I go up the stairs, door pops open, there he is, Johnny Lawrence himself, like right in front of my face. And it was just one of those, okay, I'm a professional, right? But also, like, this is a freaking legend here. And just so happens he's the nicest guy you will ever meet. They say don't meet your heroes, but meet Johnny Lawrence, because he is an absolutely amazing human being who instantly makes you comfortable on set and is so funny and charming, just like his character. Like, it's just great. And that's why I think the show works so well, because literally everyone involved is a family, and they make you feel a part of the family from the jump. And that's something that's, you know, doesn't happen on every production. And I think that's why this is just such an amazing show, and why the fans love it so much, because when you have that chemistry and that connection with everyone, it reads really well to the audience.
Yeah, definitely. And you couldn't have said it better, because when I watched this show, I think the first thing I noticed was just how well integrated everything was. And like you said, it doesn't always happen on shows, you know.
No.
You can feel the chemistry and just the energy from the way that everybody's acting, and you can kind of might even tell you the tone of what it's like on set when they're filming. So when you watch Cobra Kai, especially when you see the creators, they're so passionate about this, being big fans of Karate Kid, and then bringing back the show, and the way they brought all these cast members together with crew, and they just get on so well and just very well integrated. You just know it's going to do great things. And I think that's what any actress like yourself or actor or professional in this industry always hopes for, is just to get through things in, like, you know, the best way possible. Because you want to remember that experience. You don't want to be like, oh yeah, that's something I don't want to remember. Like, you obviously remember this day very, very well when you're on set. So must have been definitely something you're going to tell in the future, of course, and just a really nice memory. So when you were on set for your scene, run me through the whole sequence of what the scene was supposed to be, because I remember you were saying, unfortunately, it didn't get included.
Yeah, so it was the beach montage scene, which was this great Rocky Balboa scene with Johnny, and he's doing his thing, but you know, no matter what's going on in Johnny's life, right? He is Johnny Lawrence. So he sees two babes coming down the beach. He's running, right? And he's in his mood. But of course, he's got to circle back and talk to the ladies because, you know,
Ladies man.
that's who Johnny is. He's not going to pass up that opportunity.
Yeah.
He actually comes up and he has a dialogue with us about inviting us to the tournament. And it's very similar to what they ended up including, which was the school scene of him handing out the flyers and things like that. But we were just on the beach, and it was this great moment. And in between each take, he was making hilarious jokes, which just made us feel more comfortable. And, you know, he was just his charming, flirty self that makes everyone feel like, you know, it's the man. And it's just so much fun. And literally everyone there, from the top to the bottom of the hierarchy in production, just was so amazing. And I can't speak highly enough about everyone involved. I actually ended up running into Thomas Griffith too, Terry Silver.
Oh, that's awesome.
Makeup trailer, totally unexpected, right? And again, just the most beautiful human being who is so polite and welcoming. And, you know, especially someone like me that played such a minimal character at such a last minute time. No one had to speak to me, right? No one had to include me in anything, but they did. And that's what I think the takeaway I want the fans to know is like, these people like are so brilliant and amazing, and they're the genuine human beings that you see in their characters. Like, it was just awesome. So yeah, I hope they release the scene at some point because it was super funny and we had a blast filming it. And yeah, it's still, and I even told them on the day, I was like, even if this gets cut, this is the best day of my life.
That's honestly awesome. It's such a shame though you didn't they didn't actually put it in, but you said like it kind of made sense because like within that scene, it was when we saw it in the episode, the tone was much different. You know, like you said, it was obviously more serious about Billy, what he's going through in his mind with all the things that have happened and what have happened, and just yeah, having a funny moment might have taken away from it, but of course any moment with Johnny that's funny is always amazing. So it would have been so great to see this scene. If you are allowed to, like, kind of say what did you get any like lines in this scene, or was it kind of like Johnny was just talking to you guys?
Johnny's talking to us, and we were just kind of naturally responding as like, okay, who is this guy? Just like ran up to us and is inviting us to a karate tournament, you know? And so just kind of the natural reaction as a female that you might have on the beach in California, which being from California, I've had it happen a few times, but then again, if it was Johnny Lawrence, I think my reaction might be a little bit different, like in hindsight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just a really, you know, like I said, it was a last minute scene. So I think it was just the vibe of the day. And the thing we kept coming back to on set was it was like the last day of school feeling. Everyone was in a good mood. It was the last day of production. Everyone was getting to go home tomorrow. They had just had a day off. So it was just good vibes all around. And so we created something that was super fun. And, you know, it still exists in our hearts and our minds, and hopefully it'll be seen by everyone at some point. But yeah, it was super fun, great experience, one of the best experiences on set that I've ever had in my life. So
yeah, definitely. I can only imagine how it must have felt in the moment when you got this like very last minute call, and then next thing you know, you're meeting William Zabka. And then, like you said, growing up with the Karate Kid, that must have been such a like WTF. Like, you must have felt a bit starstruck.
The thought that I had and I talked to him. I was like, listen, you know, I'm a professional, but I just want you to know, like, I love you, man. And I love what you did the show. I'm so glad you brought it back. And he was like, me too. Like, genuinely took the time to talk to me as another professional and as a fan of the show. And, you know, just amazing, absolutely amazing experience. That, like, what do you do when your dreams come true, right? Like, that was a total dream that, you know, I've probably manifested in my head ever since the show started, was to get some sort of role on the show. And then it happens like overnight. What do you do next? I don't know. I could retire and never do anything else. Be perfectly happy.
What was, so when you did you know when your agent kind of like told you, oh, about this production, then you found out it was Cobra Kai, when did you know you were going to be working with William? Was it kind of just when you got there and you're like, hold up a second?
Literally when I ran into him face to face and he goes, oh, you must be the girl I'm chasing down the beach today. And I said, oh, am I?
Wow, that must have been like,
boom, there you go.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how I'd reacted.
I mean, like, working with any of them would have been absolutely amazing, but it was to have, you know, a scene with Johnny Lawrence. Does it get better than that? I don't think it does.
It's pretty hard to top anything like that, especially when it's related to this. I mean, he's one of the characters I think everybody likes in the show. No matter if you do find him a bit, oh, he's a bit like this and that, makes his mistakes, but his humor is something everybody can appreciate and relate to. So, yeah, I absolutely love the way William brings his energy with Johnny. And also, what were your first impressions when you saw Cobra Kai when it first came out? Because obviously with reboots, especially from the 80s, it's kind of like people don't want it to be touched, you know. It's like Back to the Future. The creator didn't want anybody touching his franchise once he had passed, and made sure of that because a lot of these things, you know, get ruined because they don't have the passionate creators like this show has. So, like, yeah, what did you think initially? Like, were you like, oh, this could be interesting, or were you like kind of concerned?
When I first heard about it, I was a little bit concerned because my heart, in my heart of hearts, it will forever be Cobra Kai, like the most badass dojo in the valley, like period, point blank. Wasn't sure what they were going to do with it, so I started researching it. And before I watched it, and my first thought was, oh my God, they're bringing everyone back. And not only are they bringing them back, but they're a part of like this production and selling the show, and like all of the work they were putting into it behind the scenes to make it happen was what made me go like, okay, they've got something here. And then I watched it and was just blown away by, you know, all the young characters that they brought in, and they continue to do an amazing job with these characters, and just the really human aspect that they bring to these people. And that's what I love about Johnny. I love about Tori. Like, they're these really human characters that all of us, I think, can relate to on that kind of darker, gritty level where life sucks a lot of the time. And what do you do with it? Do you go forward? Do you let it destroy you? And I think that's a great message for the new generation that is now growing up and maybe going back to the Karate Kid films after seeing Cobra Kai. So yeah, just absolutely fantastic what they've done with it.
I totally agree. Like, this show teaches you so much about morality, and it's just like, I think the creators, that they definitely are very wise to bring out these things in the characters. Of course, William and Ralph, obviously executives on the show as well, for bringing this back, because obviously they literally rejected the idea of bringing this show or this idea to happen for so long, because they didn't obviously see the passion that these guys did. So I'm just very glad they stuck to their gut and they listened to, you know, these guys and did it with them, because with this show it could have just been a simple cash grab, like, you know, just bringing back a franchise, trying to revive it and just doing it for that sake. But the way they write the show, they teach you about morality, they make very relatable characters. I mean, you love the OG characters as much as sometimes the newer cast. All these younger characters, like you said, they're very relatable, and they don't make them so like, you know, they're just so far apart from the audience. Everyone in the show is somewhat relatable for different reasons. Like Tori, yeah, the suffering, you know, Miguel, the bullied side, you know, everything about it speaks so much in terms of wisdom. And when you watch the show, what gripped you about it? Was it simply like, you know, the writing, or was it the humor, or was it just simply the curiosity to see how it would turn out?
The writing for me is what did it. I think it was so amazingly written, and I told them on set that day. I was like, oh my gosh, like you're the writers, like you guys are amazing. And they're a little bit like, oh, that's not the usual response, especially when you have like Johnny there and you have Thomas there, like.
Yeah.
But it is so amazingly written, and I love what the juxtaposition of like having a Sholo who was newer at acting when this came up. And then you have Peyton List, who's a veteran, and yet amazing chemistry, like an amazing acting. And it's just so real and relatable. And it's just, they've done such an amazing job with it. And everyone is there on set and production. Like, and I don't think I've even ever seen that to that degree where literally everyone's involved in every little scene. And like, that's amazing, like absolutely amazing.
Right. And that sounds really cool because, like you said, with other types of shows and sets, it's probably not like that.
No, but you've got your so many directors, and then you have so many assistants, but having like the core crew always there overseeing everything just shows, I think, the love that they put in. Even my scene that got deleted, they were all there putting all their energy and love into it, regardless of if it's going to make it past post-production. And that, that is something different, because it could have just been a throwaway scene no one had to be on set for. They could have gone home early, just had a few people feeling. No, they were all there. Like, amazing.
Yeah. I love hearing all these stories about the way the creators, and the production, how it all goes. It just really makes me love the show even more, just because it just proves like how great it is. It's, a show's greatness isn't just. I feel it's not just determined by how it's like, how it turns out. It's really like how it works behind the scenes, because that to me speaks volumes. Because then people really understand how much is going into this, and I think people need to appreciate the show even just for that aspect a lot more. Yeah, with everything going on in the show, it's grown so much just from season one. It was like reestablishing these characters, and then like obviously these new young characters that we all love. And do you have like a character in the show you can relate to the most, or anyone in particular you really like, apart from obviously Billy, because I know you obviously love Johnny Lawrence.
Me really, especially in season 4, it was Peyton for me. Like because I was a single mom in college doing it by myself, and what she brings to the table, having to support her family and
crazy.
pardon, but yet she's still following her dreams, I think is so relatable for so many girls. And it doesn't happen all the time to see that strong female character, and obviously she is beyond gorgeous, but yet she just brings next level, so many other things to offer, and her acting is just superb. And I love kind of her redemption story. I see her being a really badass addition to the good side.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of see it coming. That's kind of what I am hoping that they do, because I think that Eagle Fang and Miyagi Do would be unstoppable with Tori on their side.
Oh, definitely. And I feel like as well as Robbie, with obviously how things turned out in the end of season 4, that was making me think, if he joins Eagle Fang, and then Tori decides, this whole thing with the All Valley champ, like, I didn't, she saw the bribery. That's going to be interesting to see, like, how she'll now interact with Sam. And if she does end up leaving, where will she go? I mean, I think Eagle Fang would probably fit her, with the way she's kind of a former Cobra Kai student, but then she wants to have that good morality with it. So it's kind of like, fitting perfectly with Johnny. But I want to see her. Like,
we're seeing a little bit of it with John Kreese too in that last scene,
Oh yeah.
I see a little bit of him, his morality coming out. And now obviously the tables have turned, and we're going to see what happens in season 5, which of course has wrapped. And so excited, like the layers. And now we've kind of been through Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, so they can go off on their own story now.
Right.
I'm super excited to see what they do now. Now that we've kind of covered all the bases with the Karate Kid franchise.
Right. And like I think that's probably the curveball that the creators are getting. They know there's a point where they've gone through the characters from the OG movies and then reintroducing the character, but also giving them something we didn't see prior. Like, you know, Julie Pierce is still a character people want to see in the future. There's Mike Barnes, obviously. And with Terry Silver, we haven't seen the Silver that we saw in the Karate Kid 3. It was really refreshing. And Thomas came back just like that. Like it was, you know, coming back to his role. Like it was, you know, just another getting back on the bike kind of thing. And I loved
how amazing, like to, you know, kind of the depraved mind, the madman that he is, seeing him go back to that slowly over the episodes was just amazing work. That God, like I said, 20 years later, you know, 30 years later, he just walks into it and just kills it. Like
absolutely,
kills it.
It's literally one of those. It's just a testament to him as an actor, just to be able to do that. Because I know for so many years he's just been a writer, pretty much hasn't really acted a lot, and just to come back to this role in particular, it must have been pretty awesome to come back. But it's also, it's like you said, it's building up to that Karate Kid 3 Silver. It's actually pretty mad, like how he's gonna take over Cobra Kai with what he did. Like, what did you think of that? Like, that must have...
We've never seen that before, right? Because he was always kind of right-hand man to John. Now he's kind of on his own, and I don't think we've seen his full level of crazy yet. And I'm super excited to watch that, and maybe we'll get a team up between, you know, the three, between Kreese, between Johnny, and yeah, all of them. Maybe they'll come together. Maybe Cobra Kai will become this giant super gym, and I don't know. I'm hoping for a happy ending for Cobra Kai, because like I said, that's my dojo. Like, that's Cobra Kai can never go away, of course.
Funny you say that, because I was going to ask you, which dojo would you see yourself in if these dojos were literally real? So, you know, Eagle Fang, Cobra Kai, or Miyagi-Do. So you would go with Cobra Kai?
100%. And it's funny because on set, when we were going through wardrobe, and we had to pick out our bikinis, they were like, you're red, Cobra Kai. My girl Jocelyn, who played alongside me, was blue because she's more, you know, she was the better, like, Miyagi-Do.
Oh, okay, I like that.
Yeah, and so I like that Frank, who does all the wardrobe, which I absolutely adore. He's fantastic, and there's not enough to be said about people who do styling and wardrobe on set. Like, they are the unsung heroes of making everything as fabulous and beautiful as it is. Like, I love that he saw that within our personalities too, because I was like, you're totally right. Cobra Kai all day long till I die.
That's actually a cool little Easter egg. Is that the Easter egg you were talking about then? Because I remember a while ago you were saying like there's an Easter egg in the scene.
Oh no, in the picture that I have with the Cobra Kai chair, it's Terry's house behind me, and I think you had said that.
Oh, that's what it was. Because so Johnny. Oh, it was Terry's place then.
Yep.
Because I was wondering, like, just Johnny running past. Like, imagine if Silver had seen this guy. Like, who the hell is that?
Right. Yeah, it's fun little things, and obviously we filmed at a beach in Jacksonville to make it look like we were in California. Although being in California, I've never been to a beach that beautiful. But it was just, you know, it was awesome, and you know, beautiful homes along. It was perfect. It was a perfect Terry house.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, so they were filming some of those scenes in the house that day too, and so it was just great. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, definitely. That place in particular was pretty. You know, like Terry was living well. He'd like kind of moved on from everything with Vietnam, and I do feel sorry for him in the sense like he feels burdened to Kreese, but Kreese kind of uses that against him or for his sake. Sometimes I feel, and as much as I know Kreese cares about him, it's kind of like at the same time you're making it difficult for Silver. Like let that guy kind of breathe and let him move on from it too. But
I loved that the house was like essentially made of all glass, right? And there's something to be said for those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I kind of picked up on. But I do love that was kind of the trigger when Kreese used that against him. as his weakness,
Yeah.
as Terry had pointed out, and it kind of embarrassed Kreese about his weakness in front of the kids. And then there's that snap that happens with Terry, and that's when he goes back into, hold on, I'm more powerful than any of you here, and I'm going to show you that.
Yeah.
And what about the scene with Stingray? That kind of brought this all to life, getting his ass beat and having to
That was crazy.
Lie. Like, I love that kind of character development because he's such a silly, fun character that you never would have expected. The straw that breaks the camel back with it.
Yeah.
There's just going to be a whole series of unfortunate events, I feel, and who's going to bail Kreese out of jail?
That's the thing. That's something I'm very curious about, because it's come to a point now, if Silver's getting, for Kreese, it's simply just dominating with the form of karate. With Silver, he wants all the glamour and the glitz with it. He wants to make this thing kind of like, like an empire. Like, he wants to create Cobra Kai Industries, not Cobra Kai the karate. He wants to expand all of it. Like, with what he can do, that's worrying, and they're going to be all over the valley. I mean, imagine if they went global as a brand. I mean,
right.
That would be crazy if they did that.
I think, John Kreese he's the beating heart of Cobra Kai. And I think Terry's going to have a hard match against him, trying to take that away and turn it into this sort of like mall gym, right? Where they just exist everywhere. Like, there's one Cobra Kai and it's in the valley, and like, that's it.
Yeah. Like, I just don't know how it's awesome to see Chosen return and help Daniel, but that whole process, because Johnny's looking for Miguel as he's looking for his father, and Daniel's gonna have to deal with this whole thing while he's in the valley. So like, that's also season 5 is gonna get more nuts. So much going on, and the stuff with Johnny and Robbie as well. How did you feel about that scene in particular?
Well, I loved it, of course, but for me it was that scene between Johnny and Miguel, the I love you scene, and he says, I love you, Robbie. And that, I think, for all of us, were like, oh my
I really felt for Miguel there.
Like, and now, of course, Miguel is on this journey to find himself, and I think we'll definitely see Johnny and Robbie get closer now as they have Miguel's out of the picture a little bit.
Yeah.
But who is Miguel's dad? What part is he going to play in this? Because to me, there's got to be a bit more of an underlying story here.
Right.
So I'm excited to see the part that he plays, and also I keep thinking about how Daniel was the one who had to help Robbie while he was in jail. Maybe Daniel's the one that's going to have to come to Kreese's aid too, because he's the one with the means. And, so maybe we'll see a little bit of an alliance going forward.
Yeah, that would be amazing, because I think Daniel and Johnny would be so against it. I'm just curious who would be the one to suggest it. Maybe someone like Amanda, because that whole thing with Amanda and Tori, I did not expect that, and the way they did that was so smart.
Right. Yeah, no, I thought that was amazing. And again, great character development for Amanda too. And having a daughter myself, I put myself in that situation, like, gosh, what would I do? And again, like we talked about, so much morality in this and so much real life situation that we all go through when we kind of check ourselves a little bit outside of the storylines. And I think they don't go along with necessarily the happily ever after or what you would expect in the story. They go with the grit of real life and where that kind of takes you, good, bad, or otherwise. And I think that's why it's freaking amazing.
Right. As you're a mother, who do you see yourself more as? Would you say Amanda or Carmen?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'm a bit in between, because Carmen, I think she is the sweetheart, but she's a little bit spicy, and maybe there's the pants in the relationship. So I think I'm a little bit in between the both of them, but both are absolutely amazing. One of my favorite scenes ever was the Mexican restaurant scene when they're all together. I just love the way that they, you see them both whipping those boys into shape, and no one is more powerful in the valley than the women, I So
I love that scene as well because it's just like Amanda and Carmen just straight away introduce each other. And, you know, they don't even think about the Johnny Daniel thing. They just try and get on with it, and those two are just like looking at each other like, "Yeah, you better leave. Don't sit next to us." And it's just amazing as they integrate them. They're getting more drunk and they're making more like chemistry together. It was a great scene, and I think that's definitely one highlight of their like with their newfound friendship together. So that's definitely a fun scene. I mean, I hope we see something like that again in the future. I mean, that would be pretty hilarious.
I love them together, and there's so many layers, right? Because at that point, Miguel and their daughter had just broken up. And so, you know, you have that sort of like, oh, sorry, you know, what happened? And at the same time, you have these guys fighting, and they're like, you know what? Like, we're just going to take control of this situation. And yeah, I just love that they end up bringing the boys together a little bit, like every good women, you know, they do. So
Yeah,
super fun characters.
for sure. If you could play a character in the show, who would you like to play?
Oh, good question. I could see myself play. I love playing darker characters. So like Tori, or a Robbie sort of character. Yeah, I also love Joe. I think he is a great, you know, he's a comedic relief, and he's
Amazing.
a fantastic actor himself. There's so many. Hawk would be super fun to play too, because and I love that we've come back to Eli quite a bit too. But
Yeah.
still super sexy, and you know, the last scene with him and Moon, I was always hoping for a rekindling of their
Oh,
relationship.
I was so glad when they did that. And I love the fact that technically Moon's kiss made him win the
Right.
tournament. Like
Yeah.
that kiss changed the
Like
whole
I
the
said,
whole thing.
Allie, man, like that's what's up.
I was like, it's like magic or something. It's like,
Right.
yeah, he just came back
He
immediately.
was like, yeah, and but what a great lesson too for young boys who are coming into themselves at that age. Like, you don't need to be anyone but yourself, and I think that's the takeaway here. The badass lies within all of us, and it's just a matter of showing it and not being afraid of it. So
That's a great point. Like, I love the fact they showed that, like, yeah, that confidence is within you. You just need to bring it out. It is possible. And also, you're not defined by anything materialistic or anything in terms of, yeah, maybe just something that made you confident. It's not even about that specific thing. It's really just about you as a person and staying true to yourself. Again, a great life lesson there. And wow, Hawk, Eli had a great arc in season 4. And I think him, Robbie, Tori in particular, I think they had some amazing arcs this season. You know, they really developed what was going on, and Robbie being more aware of Cobra Kai, and just Tori, really like just again a great arc for her. And I love the fact, you know, she's reaching out to Amanda, something like we said, didn't expect that. If you could describe season 4 as a whole, how would you describe it?
ooh, yeah, I think I would describe it as just a lot of growth with these characters, you know, and they're coming towards the end of their high school experience, you know, and so there's a lot of stuff that goes on mentally and internally and with relationships, and they all bring that to the table so well. So yeah, I think it was a lot of character development and growth that's going to lead us towards, you know, what they do next with it. And yeah, I just think it has so much more potential than even anyone ever thought, right? You know, just
Right.
the Karate Kid series, like it's its own standalone entity, I think now, without any of that. And it can go so far, and I hope they take it really far. And you know, all the rumors about spin-offs and stuff like that, I think these characters are fantastic to each hold their own in separate things. And I love seeing them get the spotlight that they deserve. Seeing Sholo become a DC character now, like,
Oh, amazing.
amazing. Like, we'll 100% be going to watch that, because how can you not support these people who you watch them grow in the series, and they are the amazing people that they portray in real life, and seeing them have the success is like awesome. Love seeing beautiful people achieve beautiful things, and you know, support your friends, support your local artists and stuff like that, man, because that's what all these people are, and they make my life more enjoyable every time they come out with a new season. And so yeah, it's our job to keep hyping them up and make sure that and you do a great job of that as well.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, freaking
I try my best.
No, killing it. And all the people that have started following me on my journey and stuff like that, the most amazing supportive people. This fan base is unlike anything else that I think exists, and that is the most wonderful thing about all of this.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I can vouch for you on the support thing. Like, it's been unreal. The support this fandom give, you know, people like us. No matter if you're a creator, no matter if you're an actor on the show, if you're crew, it's just the appreciation's always there, and I love it. It's really nice to see how you know, this show brings everyone together, because it's a very generational show. So it's like people from all different age groups are kind of coming together and talking about the show. And it's really nice to see that, because most shows, you know, there's like a set audience, could be youngsters, could be, you know, an older audience, but it really tries to bring everybody together with the OG films, and then of course with the younger characters in the series. And I just love what they've done. And like you said, yeah, the spin-offs. Oh, I hope they have so many spin-offs. I'd love to watch every single one. And I mean, if there's any character in particular you'd love to see a spin-off on, who would it be?
Oh, I think Robbie. You know, I think
Oh yeah,
so many layers, and Tanner's obviously such an amazing actor and can do so much with that character. So
yeah,
he would be one for sure. Yeah, just these younger, newer characters, I think, can do so much and continue to grow this story, right, that Daniel and Johnny started. I see them taking it forward to more and more generations. And like, I was born in '87, so just coming out of the end of that '80s era. But my 13-year-old daughter freaking loves the show and all of it, you know. So what a great thing to be able to bond with the older crowd, the younger crowd, and I think they do a great job. So, and yeah, I love Carmen's story too, and her family, and what she does. I think she'd be another one that's just like fantastic, like
yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
So who does your daughter like the most in the show? Does she have like a favorite character?
Oh, well, I have to tell you, the giggles and the blushed cheeks during the Robbie and Hawk scene.
Every girl, basically.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed right now. But yeah, that was probably the most memorable scene of season 4 for her. So great job, guys. Like that, it was abs for me.
That I know a lot of the ladies were like, ooh, when they saw that scene. I respect them in the sense, like, they really prepare these guys. Like Tanner and Jacob really enjoy doing the stunts, getting in shape. Like, they really, I was speaking to Thomas the other day, you know, he's the stunt double of Tanner and a stuntman on the show, and he was saying just how competitive Tanner is, like, just to, you know, keep prepared, and just the fitness sense. And Jacob absolutely loves to stay fit, and they're doing all these things. But yeah, I know a lot of the ladies were absolutely blown away by that scene with them fighting. I thought it was pretty badass when they took off the gis, because I know Hawk did that in the dojo in season 3, and then Robbie did it. He's like, screw it, I'll take the gi off. It was pretty badass, almost like a death fight, like it was going into like blood sport or something. Like,
and I loved that it was them at the end. You know, I love that we didn't have Miguel in the finale. I think
my boy Miguel, they didn't know. Nah, I'm just joking. I agree though, in a sense.
Screaming on the mat for Sensei, and then it was just the pulled muscle. I was like, you're tearing at our heartstrings here. But
it was horrible. But Robbie and Hawk in the final, that was fantastic. Like, as much as I wanted Miguel there, I think the way they did it, that was amazing. Like, you can't say it was any worse or anything like. It was just amazing with that. And yeah, with Miguel, oh, that was probably the most intense end to an episode.
Yeah, I think I literally lost my breath because I didn't see it coming. And then the start of the new episode after that, you know, and it was just the pulled muscle. And I think we were all like, oh my God, how could you
not
do
again.
that to us? But again, amazing writing. Like, love that we brought it back to all these little things. And it was just little details this season that I think made it so magical. And yeah, the new characters and Daniel's other son and his story, and like,
yeah,
great writing.
For sure. I hope we see you back in the future on Cobra Kai. I can't wait to see that scene you were in at some point. I'm hoping they release something about it because I really want to see how that would have played out. It sounds like it would have been amazing. But honestly, it's great to have you on as well, Sarah. I know we've been discussing about this for a while, so I'm really glad to have you on, talk about it. And thank you for sharing your story and your experience on set. That must have been amazing.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. Love you all. Thank you so much for the support for my little tiny character, but you all are just amazing. And yes, much love to everyone. Stay safe out there.
For sure. So we're signing off. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button if you enjoyed today's interview. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.